Well, here we are back in Mittenrahm, in the Brakenrahm, in front of Mawn. Not a lot has really been done in terms, at least in terms of building. Some groundwork has been done that will lead to building and hopefully make things a little easier in the same time. As I said in last week's video, this is finished, except for decoration on the external and the tentacles, and I still need to settle on these as well. I think I mentioned that in the previous video. So the back has obviously come much further forward than the previous video. What has happened is the original line for the upper body, I extended it all the way down here, and I turned up the render distance so I could see it, and I really wasn't happy. It's going to disappear at this angle. It felt like it was cutting down too much, but it's really difficult to see the whole thing. I can put the render distance up. It deals with it a little better because I'm in the end. So you can see the line. I don't think it was the right spot. It may have worked out, I don't really know. There was, I basically eyeballed the replacement. I backed up, I looked at it, I'm like, I think it should be here. And tried to approximate what I was looking at, and then fiddled with it to get it a little bit closer. And then experimented. I picked this spot, which is in the middle of the longest one before I start curving it back around. You know, if you could build further down, it would have extended like this. And then from there, I drew out a circle, which is a 1-for-1 relationship for every step in the. Like, this is a 45-degree angle, basically. That's what I've done. So from the front, every layer, you put one row of blocks in, however many it takes, and then you move out and down one. And then when you look at it from this side, you should get the curve of the circle, which you do. So from the right angle, this starts to look just like a flat the ordinary upright circle. Now obviously it hits 0, and I can't build lower than that. So I projected where the line would be if I continued downwards. And it works out at approximately 110, 115 blocks below 0, which would put it all the way out here, but down 100, which is pretty far, has to be said. And I looked at it, I'm like, well, this just doesn't seem right. Even with the original one, the curve was like this. I mean, that would be basically curving back on itself, giving the whole thing a U-turn. And I'm like, something has to be done. It was entirely possible that this is completely incorrect, this 45-degree angle. This would happen eventually, depending on whether given enough curvature, without necessarily meaning that it was going to U-turn, but clearly it was by how soon I was doing it. So I kind of started marking out where others would be. This has involved figuring out where this part of the curve would also be. So the new green block up here, this represents 0 in the world height, and then this would be what it would do below that level, except obviously you can see I've modified it again. And what I'm doing is, I know that whatever the layer, whatever y coordinate we have up here, I just need to subtract 240. It's 241 technically, but the game has an actual 0, which is a specific layer, so I need to subtract that in order for everything to work out. So in this one you can see that it would be minus 44, I think, would be the layer. So I'm going to drop down from here. And it corresponds to this one. It was originally yeah, as you can see, as I started doing this, I realized that it wasn't matching up. So the first, like the red one up there, or the orange one rather, no, the red one, you know, when I came down here, this is the layer it would be sat on. However I curve this line, whatever is sat on this y coordinate is the red, last of the red ones from this point of view. So this red line, if this was in place down below, this curve would meet at that spot down there. And I discovered that these didn't match. You can see I've had to recolor from here to here, and then it's picking back up again. So the orange should actually be down here instead of up here. So I've been doing all of this, and I'm going to have to do this for every single color change in order to know where all of the major curves are. Everything else is just a question of filling in the gaps between these curves. I've gone with the colored wall because I will need to duplicate it, and I need to make sure I have some record of how it should connect in case something goes wrong, which would be normal at this point because multiple things have gone wrong with doing this. I did try at one point when the other thing that I discovered didn't work out was, given that this would be a 45-degree angle, what is it? Yeah, I think this is the longest piece on the side, and so it should be here, I think, is the midpoint. So I'm not quite sure why this is done like this, but the idea is that down here, oh okay, I see, I realize what it is. So the midpoint would be down here, and if you start doing a 45-degree angle up, it would break through here. So then this would go up at a diagonal, but from there it needs to curve or climb and connect to this onto that spot there. And so like, that doesn't work. There is no workable way to do this. To have this go forward at 45-degree angles straight up, even for a couple of blocks, and then connect with this, it doesn't work. So this is not right. If I would complete this curve like I'm doing now, you can see here, there is no way that this is going to match. I'm pretty confident that this will eventually meet this and it will all be in order, but this won't meet this because this is just fundamentally not right. Which is fine, that's not a problem. It's just turned it into a fairly large headache that I'm struggling with. This is getting dangerously close to breaking me, and not wanting to carry on. I don't think it will happen. I know I can't walk away from it, because if I do, I will not go back. Having said that, my intention is, as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to go back into the overworld to a previous Christmas build and try and build a wreath. on a wall, and probably do a large one at another location. I did think of something larger, but larger would take a week maybe, and I don't want to step away from this for a week at such a crucial moment. I need to push through this. I need to calculate where all of these are, and then I can be in a better place, because I know when I come back I can just start placing blocks again. So what I've actually been doing is, I'm not sure if I explained this in the previous video, because I was doing it at that point, because I explained the mistake I've made where I had been calculating the number of steps inward, like this one goes 1, 2, 3, 4 in 1, 1, 2, 3 in 1, 1, 2, 3 in 1, 1, 2, 3 in 1, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, so on. And then it starts to get tricky, because when you get to this point, it's all about the Y layers. So from above, this is 2, but it's actually 3 layers, and that's what I'm looking for. So I have to work out how many of these are required in order to reach the point that it's meant to connect to. And yeah, I've got to calculate the difference between this red block and the counterpart down there, divide 241 by that number, which was 55 in this case, 74 in this case, and that came out that in order to use whole numbers, it's a little bit more to it, but to keep it simple, once I've divided by 74, you end up with this. You can make 74 increments that will meet the requirements to go from here to there, while building a circle that matches all of the other circles by using increments of 19 4s and 55 3s. And then there I start to work out, well, how does this work? How do I do this? And it was multiple repeats of this, so 4 triple 3, 9 times in total. There needed to be spare 3s at either end, and there was 2 in the middle, needed to be. Yeah, one of the 4s and one of the 3s had to go in the middle. 27 repeats of this. And then, I'm not sure what this was supposed to be. I think this might have been 3, 3, 3. So it goes 3, 3, 3 at either end. Then 9 repeats of this pattern. Then you're at the middle where you get the 4, 3 combination. And then you do the same again on the other side. I have to do this for every single colour. So that's a couple of dozen times. The numbers are a bit tedious. I don't like doing it. It's kind of boring. I did threaten myself with logging on yesterday when I don't actually stream and doing it, but I don't usually build on the day that I don't stream. And I forgot to record this as well. This is being done Tuesday. It should have been done Sunday, and which is why it wasn't available yesterday. Anyway, I've rattled on enough. I really hope that once this is done, though, I will make some very swift progress and get back on track and get to doing the decoration, which, you know, a lot's going to hinge on getting this in place and getting it right as well. But yeah, I've gone for something that may just show up. Obviously the potion has worn off. This is what it actually looks like under natural lighting. And I think it will give it just enough of a hint that you'll be able to discern some sort of pattern or swirling. Not really sure how effective it's going to be until I've got more in place, but obviously I'm not going to go crazy yet. Not when the body still needs to be altered. And on that note, I shall say adieu and go build wreaths. Yeah, totally. Oh yeah. Well, I've got the render distance up to 32. You get a pretty good shot of most of it. I don't think you can see. The viewing spot is going to be over here. This is where I will take people. You know, I will fly to when I want to show somebody. I'm going to build something here. As you can see, it's not quite enough. We need to go up to 42 to be able to see the ether properly, and then you can see more of the back of Mawn. Oh, you can't see Aurelian either at this distance. But yeah, on that note, let's just say adieu.